The alarms were different from the medical emergency calls. These were sharp, urgent, and accompanied by flashing red lights throughout the council chamber. The station's automated voice cut through the chaos. Biohazard alert. Sector 12 contamination detected. Sealing affected areas. All personnel evacuate to safe zones immediately. The council erupted into panic. Representatives rushed toward the exits. Dr. Velthra's lights flashed bright red as the doctor accessed a medical console built into the wall. "It's spreading," Dr. Velthra said, voice shaking. "The pathogen has contaminated the environmental systems. 17 crew members are already infected. Life support is compromised in 3 sectors." "What kind of pathogen?" Jiho asked, running to join the doctor at the console. "Unknown. Highly virulent. It entered the station on a cargo shipment from the Outer Rim and mutated in our atmospheric processors. Standard decontamination protocols are not working." On the screen, Taeyang could see the infected crew members. They looked terrible. Fever, weakness, difficulty breathing. Some had already collapsed. The station's medical team was suiting up in full protective gear, but they were moving slowly, carefully, afraid to get too close to the danger. "How long do they have?" Daehyun asked quietly. Dr. Velthra didn't answer immediately. When the doctor finally spoke, the words were almost too quiet to hear. "Hours, maybe less. The pathogen is mutating faster than our computers can sequence it." Ambassador Kravoth had not fled with the others. He stood on the council platform, staring at the screens. "Seal the sectors completely. Evacuate everyone who isn't infected." "We cannot let this spread. There are people dying in there," Hana protested. 17 people, Kravoth said coldly. "If we don't contain this, it could be thousands. The mathematics are clear." Minho walked to the center of the platform. "What if someone went in there? Someone whose immune system might be able to fight this thing." Everyone turned to look at him. Dr. Velthra's lights flickered between colors so rapidly they became a blur. "You cannot be serious," the doctor said. "We don't know if human immune systems can handle this pathogen. It's alien, unknown. It could kill you just as easily as it's killing them." "Could" being the important word, Minho said. "But there's a chance I could survive. And if I can survive, that means we can make a treatment from my antibodies, right? Just like we did for Tixik." Jiho studied the pathogen data on the screen. "It's showing some similarities to influenza variants. Very aggressive, very fast mutating, but the basic structure is something a human immune system might recognize as a threat." "Might," Dr. Velthra repeated. "You are willing to risk your life on might?" Minho smiled. "I'm security. Risking my life is literally in my job description. Besides, those people in there don't have any other options. Neither does this station." Ambassador Kravoth stepped forward. "I cannot allow this. If a human enters that contaminated zone and dies, Earth will blame the coalition. It will create a diplomatic disaster. If those 17 people die because you were too scared to let me try to help them, that's a bigger disaster." Minho shot back. Daehyun put a hand on Minho's shoulder. "You don't have to do this." "Yes, I do. We've been standing here arguing about whether humans are too dangerous to be part of the galaxy. Well, here's our chance to prove we're exactly what the galaxy needs." Dr. Velthra looked at Jiho. "Can you monitor his condition remotely? If his body starts to fail, can we extract him in time?" "I can set up biosensors," Jiho said. "But extraction might not be fast enough if things go wrong." "Then we make sure things don't go wrong," Minho said. He turned to Taeyang and Hana. "If I don't make it, tell my mom I did something important, okay?" "You're going to tell her yourself," Taeyang said firmly. "Because you're coming back." The preparation took 20 minutes. Jiho attached biosensors to Minho's body, each one transmitting data to monitors in the medical bay. They gave him a communicator so he could stay in contact. They showed him where the infected crew members were located and explained what little they knew about the pathogen. "Remember," Jiho said, "your body is going to react strongly. Fever, inflammation, maybe nausea. That's normal. That's your immune system fighting. Don't panic. Trust your body." Minho nodded. He walked to the sealed door of Sector 12. The door controls were locked, flashing red warnings about contamination. Dr. Velthra overrode them manually, and the door hissed open. "Good luck, human," Dr. Velthra said softly. Minho stepped through. The door sealed behind him. Everyone gathered in the medical bay to watch the monitors. Biosensors showed Minho's vital signs in real time. Heart rate, temperature, oxygen levels, immune response markers. For the first few minutes, everything looked normal. Then the numbers started to change. Temperature rising, Jiho said, watching the readouts. 37 Celsius, 38, 39. Is that bad? Dr. Velthra asked. It's a fever response. His immune system has detected the pathogen and is heating up his body to fight it. It's actually good. It means his body recognizes the threat. On the video feed, they could see Minho reaching the first infected crew member, a Frelian who had collapsed near a workstation. Minho's voice came through the communicator, slightly strained. Still conscious. Still moving. Feels like I have the worst flu of my life, but I'm okay. 40 Celsius, Jiho read. That's high but sustainable. Human bodies can handle temperatures up to about 42 before serious damage occurs. Time crawled by. Minho moved through Sector 12, checking on each infected crew member. His temperature continued to rise, peaked at 40.5 Celsius, then slowly started to decrease. His heart rate was elevated but steady. Oxygen levels stayed in the normal range. He's fighting it, Hana whispered. His immune system is actually fighting it. 3 hours after entering the contaminated zone, Minho's voice came through the communicator again. He sounded exhausted but alive. Fever's breaking. I feel like I got hit by a truck. But I'm still here. The pathogen readings on the environmental sensors are dropping too. I think my immune system is winning. Dr. Velthra stared at the monitors in disbelief. His body is not just surviving the infection. It's clearing the pathogen from the environment around him. His exhalations, his skin cells, everything he's shedding is carrying antibodies and active immune markers that are destroying the pathogen in the air. He's not just immune, Rixall said, all 3 eyes wide. He's a walking decontamination system. 6 hours after exposure, Minho walked back to the sealed door. Jiho authorized it to open. Minho stumbled through, sweating and pale but very much alive. Taeyang and Hana caught him as he nearly fell. Did it work? Minho asked. It worked, Jiho said, already drawing blood samples. Your body fought off the infection and developed antibodies. We can synthesize a treatment for the others now. The treatment was administered within the hour. One by one, the infected crew members began to recover. The pathogen was eliminated from the station's environmental systems. Sector 12 was decontaminated and reopened. Ambassador Kravath stood in the medical bay watching Minho receive fluids and rest. The human looked terrible, exhausted and weak, but he was smiling. You could have died, Kravath said. But I didn't, Minho replied. And now 17 people get to live because I tried. The ambassador was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to Dr. Velthra. I need to send a report to the council. What will it say? The doctor asked. Kravoth looked back at Minho, then at the other humans in the room. The truth. That humans are dangerous. But they are dangerous to threats, not to us. The galaxy doesn't need protection from humans. The galaxy needs humans to protect it. Ambassador Kravoth arrived on Kepler 9 2 days after Tixik's recovery. He was a Sindari, a species that looked like a hairless bear with 4 arms and gray skin. The Sindari were known throughout the coalition for 2 things: their political influence and their paranoia about biological threats. Taeyang was in the station's recreation area when the ambassador made his first appearance. The large view screen that usually showed peaceful nebula images had been switched to the station's emergency broadcast channel. Kravoth's face filled the screen. His small eyes narrowed in what seemed like permanent suspicion. Attention all Kepler 9 personnel. I am Ambassador Kravoth of the Syndicate Coalition Security Council. I have arrived to assess the biological threat posed by the human presence on this station. Biological threat? Minho said from beside Taeyang. We saved a kid's life. Following the incident with patient Tixik, Kravoth continued, it has come to the Council's attention that humans carry dangerous levels of biological agents and possess immune systems capable of aggressive action. Until a full security review is completed, all humans on Kepler 9 are to remain in their assigned quarters. This is for your protection and the protection of others. The screen went dark. Within minutes, security officers appeared in the recreation area. They were polite but firm. All humans were to return to their quarters immediately. This is ridiculous, Hana protested. We haven't done anything wrong. Please comply with station security protocols, one of the officers said. It was a Frelian and its 3 eyes looked genuinely apologetic. The ambassador has authority to order temporary restrictions during security reviews. They were escorted back to their quarters. Taeyang's room was small but comfortable, designed for humanoid species. He sat on his bed and stared at the walls, wondering how everything had gone so wrong so quickly. His door chime rang 3 hours later. When it opened, he found Dr. Velthra standing there, accompanied by 2 security officers. "I'm sorry," Dr. Velthra said, the lights in the doctor's body a sad blue color. "The ambassador has called an emergency council session. You and the other humans must attend." "Are we in trouble?" Taeyang asked. "The ambassador believes all humans should be banned from Coalition space. The council will decide if he is correct." The council chamber was an impressive circular room with seats arranged in tiers around a central platform. Representatives from dozens of species filled the seats. Taeyang, Hana, Minho, and Jiho stood on the central platform. Looking up at faces both familiar and alien, Ambassador Krevoth stood at a speaker's podium, one of his forearms gesturing dramatically as he spoke. "Honorable council members, the evidence is clear. Humans are a biological hazard. They carry trillions of potentially dangerous organisms in and on their bodies. They shed these organisms constantly into any environment they occupy. Their immune systems are weaponized for aggressive combat against biological threats. They have already demonstrated the ability to use their biology to affect other species, as seen in the Tixik case. We saved that child's life," Jiho called out. Krevoth turned his small eyes on the human doctor. "You injected her with your species' biological weapons. You admitted you were not certain it would work. You could have killed her, but we didn't. She's alive and healthy." "This time," Krevoth said. "What about next time? What happens when a human spreads a pathogen that their immune system handles easily, but which kills dozens of our species? What happens when their aggressive antibodies attack the wrong target?" The potential for catastrophe is enormous. Murmurs spread through the council chamber. Taeyang could see some representatives nodding in agreement. A door opened at the back of the chamber. A human man in diplomatic robes entered, moving quickly to join the others on the central platform. "I apologize for my late arrival," the man said in both Korean and Galactic Standard. "I am Daehyun Shin, diplomatic representative for Earth. I was not informed of this hearing until 1 hour ago." "Because it was not necessary to inform you," Krevoth said. "This is a coalition security matter. Any hearing that concerns banning my species from the galaxy is absolutely my concern," Daehyun replied calmly. "And I invoke Earth's right to present a defense under coalition law." Section 14, paragraph 9. A Qualaxian council member, older than Dr. Velthra based on the deeper colors of its body, consulted a datapad. "The human is correct. Earth has the right to defend itself. Proceed, Ambassador Shin." Daehyun stepped forward, pulling up a holographic display. "Ambassador Krevoth has presented humans as uniquely dangerous. I would like to provide context that he conveniently omitted. Council members, may I ask where each of you evolved?" This seemed to confuse the council. Several members answered anyway. "Calaxia, a world of crystalline caves and thin atmosphere. The underground hive systems of Vexor Prime. The peaceful oceanic depths of Aquaria." Daehyun nodded. "Beautiful worlds, I'm sure. Low-stress environments. Minimal predators. Few diseases. Perfect conditions for evolving delicate biology." He changed the holographic display to show Earth. "This is humanity's homeworld. It has been officially classified by your own galactic survey as a Class 4 death world." The image zoomed in, showing Earth's diverse and chaotic biosphere. Storms raged across oceans. Predators hunted in jungles. Microscopic organisms swarmed in every drop of water. Earth has millions of species of bacteria, fungi, viruses, and parasites, Daehyun continued. The atmosphere has wild variations in temperature, pressure, and composition. There are regions of extreme heat and extreme cold, sometimes within 100 kilometers of each other. The planet has active weather systems that can kill with floods, droughts, hurricanes, and tornadoes. And despite all of this, humans not only survived but thrived. Because they became monsters themselves, Krevoth interrupted. They adapted to a monster world by becoming biological weapons. We adapted to survive, Daehyun said firmly. Every species here adapted to their environment. The Calaxians developed crystalline bodies to survive their thin atmosphere. The Vexorians developed exoskeletons to protect themselves in their tunnel systems. Humans developed aggressive immune systems to survive our pathogen-rich world. We are not weapons. We are survivors, Hana stepped forward. May I add something? When Daehyun nodded, she continued. Ambassador Krevoth says we're dangerous. But dangerous to whom? We saved Tixik's life. Our immune systems could potentially save thousands of lives across the coalition. Species that have no defense against emerging pathogens could be protected using human antibodies and immune techniques. Or, Kravoth countered, humans could accidentally introduce new pathogens that spread through coalition space like wildfire. A voice spoke from the council seats. It was Dr. Velthra. If I may address the council. The old Quiloxian nodded permission. I was the first to examine humans. I was terrified. I thought they were dying of massive infections. I called them biological weapons. I wanted them quarantined. Then you agree with me, Kravoth said. I agreed with you, Dr. Velthra corrected. Past tense. I have spent the last 3 days studying human biology with Dr. Kang's assistance. I have learned things that challenge everything I thought I knew about immunology. Humans are not weapons. They are miracles. Their immune systems are sophisticated defense networks that distinguish between helpful and harmful organisms. They remember threats. They adapt to new challenges. They protect without destroying unnecessarily. Another council member spoke up, a being that looked like a column of swirling gas contained in a force field. But the risk remains. One human could contaminate an entire station. One human saved a child no one else could save, Jiho said quietly. Isn't that worth something? Before anyone could respond, alarms began ringing throughout the station. An alarm cut through the tension in the medical bay. This one was different from the biohazard warnings that had been going off earlier. It was a medical emergency call, sharp and insistent. Emergency in Sector 7, a voice announced through the station's speakers. Medical team to Trauma Bay immediately. Critical patient, Vexorian juvenile, age 6 standard cycles. Dr. Velthra's lights flashed bright blue. Rixel, you have medical bay authority. I must respond. The doctor rushed toward the exit, then paused. Keep the humans contained until I return. Wait, Hana called out. Can you at least tell us how long we'll be stuck in here? But Dr. Velthra was already gone, moving with surprising speed for a being made of crystal. 2 hours passed. The containment fields around Taiyang and Minho remained active. Hana had been allowed to leave after promising not to sneeze on anyone, but she stayed anyway, sitting outside the barriers to keep the men company. They played simple word games to pass the time and ate nutrient bars that tasted like cardboard. Then another announcement came through the speakers. Dr. Jiho Kang, human physician, please report to Trauma Bay 7 immediately. Taeyang sat up straight. There's another human doctor on the station? Since when? Must have arrived recently, Hana said. I didn't know we had a medical specialist in the exchange program. Minho pressed his face against the containment barrier. You think it's related to the emergency earlier? They didn't have to wait long for an answer. The doors to the medical bay opened, and Dr. Velthra returned, followed by a human man in his mid-30s wearing medical scrubs. His name tag read Dr. Jiho Kang in both Korean and Galactic Standard. Release the containment on the engineering human, Dr. Velthra said to Rixal. I need to speak with all of them. The barrier around Taeyang's containment field dissolved. He stood up, stretching muscles that had gotten stiff from sitting too long. Jiho gave him a sympathetic look. Rough first day? You could say that, Taeyang replied. What's going on? Dr. Velthra's lights were dim, flickering weakly. We have a dying child, a young Vexorian named Tixik, 6 standard cycles old, which is equivalent to a human child of about 8 years. 3 days ago, Tixik began showing signs of infection. Fever, weakness, organ inflammation. We have tried every treatment in the Coalition medical database. Nothing is working. Jiho pulled up a medical display on a nearby screen. Taeyang couldn't understand most of it, but even he could see the declining vital signs chart. I examined the child, Jiho said, his voice grave. The pathogen is similar to what we call streptococcus on Earth. In humans, it would cause a bad throat infection. Painful but treatable, usually clears up with antibiotics in a few days. But for Vexorians? Hana asked. It's killing her, Dr. Velthra said softly. The infection has spread to multiple organs. At the current progression rate, she has perhaps 6 hours left. Rixal approached the group, all 3 eyes focused on Jiho. The human doctor has proposed a treatment, one that we have never attempted before, because we never had access to humans before. What kind of treatment? Minho asked. Jiho turned to face them all. A transfusion of human antibodies and immune cells. Specifically, white blood cells trained to fight this kind of infection. The room went silent. Taeyang looked from Jiho to Dr. Velthra and back again. You want to inject human immune cells into an alien child? I want to try to save her life, Jiho said. On Earth, we use similar techniques for immune-compromised patients. We give them antibodies from healthy donors. It works. The child's own immune system isn't strong enough to fight this infection, but a human immune system could. Could it? Dr. Velthra asked. Or would the human immune cells attack the child? See her as foreign and destroy her from the inside? That's the risk, Jiho admitted. I've been studying Vexorian biology for the past 2 hours. There are enough similarities that I think it could work. The human antibodies should recognize the pathogen as a threat and ignore the Vexorian cells. But I can't guarantee it. Rixal pulled up the microscope footage from earlier showing Taeyang's white blood cells destroying bacteria. You saw how aggressive these cells are? You want to put them inside a child? I want to give her a chance, Jiho said. Right now she has none. Dr. Velthra's light cycled through several colors before settling on a dim yellow. The parents have been informed. They understand the risks. They have given consent to try this treatment because the alternative is watching their daughter die. What do you need from us? Taeyang asked. Blood, Jiho said. Specifically blood from someone who has recently fought off a similar infection. Someone whose immune system has fresh antibodies against Streptococcus variants. I had strep throat about 3 months ago, Taeyang said. Felt like I was swallowing glass for a week. Jiho's eyes lit up. Perfect. Your body will still have antibodies. You fought it off without medication, right? Yeah, just wrote it out. It sucked, but I recovered. Then your immune system knows exactly how to kill this thing. Jiho turned to Dr. Velthra. He's our donor. Let's prep for the procedure. They moved quickly. Taeyang was taken to a medical suite where machines drew several vials of his blood. Jiho explained each step as they worked. We're separating out the white blood cells and antibodies. These are your body's soldiers and their weapons. We'll introduce them to Tixix's bloodstream in a controlled way, monitoring her response constantly. If anything goes wrong, we can stop immediately. And if it goes right? Taeyang asked. Then your immune system saves her life. Through a window, Taeyang could see the patient. Tixix was small even for a Vexorian. Her exoskeleton was dull where it should have been shiny and her movements were weak. 2 larger Vexorians stood beside her bed holding her small hands with their claws. The parents. No pressure, Taeyang muttered. Jiho smiled grimly. No pressure at all. The prepared sample was loaded into an injection system. Dr. Velthra entered the patient's room, followed by Rixal and 2 other medical staff. Through the window, Taeyang watched as they explained the procedure to the parents one final time. Both parents touched their heads to their daughters in what looked like a Vexorian gesture of affection. Then they stepped back. The injection was administered slowly. Everyone watched the monitors showing Tixix's vital signs. At first, nothing happened. The numbers stayed the same, continuing their slow decline. Then, almost imperceptibly, something changed. Pathogen levels are dropping, Rixal announced. 0.5% decrease. Fever. Is stabilizing, another technician added. 0.8%. Decrease in pathogen count. 1.2%. Dr. Velthra's lights began to glow brighter. The human antibodies are working. They are finding and neutralizing the infection. Hana grabbed Taeyang's arm. You're doing it. Your immune system is saving her. Over the next hour, they watched as Tixix's condition steadily improved. The pathogen count dropped. Her fever decreased. Her vital signs strengthened. The child's eyes, which had been barely open, began to focus on her parents again. By the 3rd hour, Tixix was sitting up. By the 4th, she was asking for food. By the 5th, she was trying to climb out of bed, much to her parents' relief and the medical staff's concern. She's going to be fine, Jiho announced, exhaustion and triumph mixing in his voice. The infection is almost completely gone. Her own immune system can handle the rest. Dr. Velthra stood in the middle of the medical bay, lights cycling through every color in the spectrum. This is impossible. This should not work. But it did. Science doesn't care what we think should work, Jiho said. It just cares what does work. News of the successful treatment spread through Kepler-9 faster than any of them expected. Within hours, Dr. Velthra's office was flooded with requests. 3 other species wanted consultations about using human immune responses to treat their own patients. The station commander wanted a full report. The Coalition Medical Council demanded an explanation, but someone else had heard the news too. Someone who didn't like it at all. The medical bay remained in lockdown for 3 hours. During that time, Dr. Velthra assembled an emergency team of xenobiologists from across the station. They gathered around the displays showing Taeyang's scan results, speaking in hushed tones that the translator couldn't quite catch. Every few minutes, one of them would look at the humans in the containment fields, then quickly look away as if they had seen something horrible. Taeyang sat on the floor of his bubble, arms wrapped around his knees. Minho was in a similar position in his own containment field nearby. Hana stood outside, trying to explain human biology to an audience that seemed to understand less with each passing minute. The human digestive system alone contains over 1,000 different species of bacteria, Hana said, pointing to a diagram on her datapad. They break down food we can't digest ourselves. They produce vitamin K, which we need for blood clotting. They even help train our immune systems. A Vexorian scientist who looked like a cross between an ant and a lobster made a clicking sound. You are saying humans cannot digest food without parasites? That your blood cannot function without foreign assistance? That your immune systems require infection to develop properly? They're not parasites or infections, Hana said for what felt like the 100th time. They're symbiotic organisms, partners, friends even. Friends? Dr. Velthra's lights flickered between orange and yellow. You befriend bacteria? Well, not individually, Hana admitted. But as a concept, yes. The Vexorian scientist pulled up another screen. I have reviewed Earth's database entries. Your planet is classified as a Class 4 death world. The surface is covered with aggressive plant life, dangerous predators, extreme weather patterns, and a biosphere containing millions of species of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. The Galactic survey team that visited your planet 20 years ago had to wear full biosuits and still lost 3 members to local infections. Earth is a bit rough, Hana said, but it's home. It is a nightmare, the Vexorian said flatly. And you evolved there, surrounded by countless pathogens fighting for survival every day. So you did not become sterile and clean like civilized species. You became, what? Living habitats for microorganisms. When you say it like that, it sounds weird, Minho called from his containment field. But yeah, basically. Dr. Velthra turned to face the humans directly. Let me make sure I understand. On your planet, you are constantly exposed to dangerous organisms. From birth until death, you are fighting infections every single day. Is this correct? Yes, Hana said, though we don't really think of it as fighting. Most of the time, our immune systems handle it automatically. Most of the time, Dr. Velthra's lights went dark red, meaning sometimes you lose these battles? Well, sure. People get sick. We get colds, flu, food poisoning, infections from cuts, but usually our bodies fight it off in a few days. The entire medical team went silent. Dr. Velthra approached the barrier separating them from Hana, moving slowly as if approaching a dangerous animal. You get sick. Regularly? Multiple times per year? And you consider this normal? Doesn't everyone? Hana asked. No. Dr. Velthra's voice rose in pitch. Most coalition species might experience one infection in their entire lifetime, and it requires immediate intensive medical care. You are telling me humans fight off multiple infections every year, often without any medical intervention at all? My grandmother used to say you need to get sick once in a while to keep your immune system sharp, Taeyang added. The Vexorian scientist made a sound like grinding rocks. This is insanity. Complete madness. How do you survive childhood? What do you mean? Minho asked. Young organisms have undeveloped immune systems, the Vexorian explained. They are the most vulnerable to infection. Surely human children must be kept in sterile environments until they reach maturity. Hana laughed. Have you seen human children? They put everything in their mouths. They play in dirt. They share food with each other. They're basically little germ factories. And they survive this? Dr. Velthra asked weakly. Most do, yeah. That's actually how they build up their immune systems. Exposure to different bacteria and viruses when they're young makes them stronger when they're older. Dr. Velthra sat down suddenly, the doctor's legs folding in a way that looked painful. The lights in the doctor's body were cycling through colors so fast they became a blur. You intentionally expose your young to pathogens. As a developmental strategy, it's not intentional, Hana said. It just happens. Kids are curious and messy. But yes, the exposure does help them. A new alien entered the medical bay, this one wearing markings that indicated senior medical authority. The translator identified the species as Frelian. It had 6 legs, a long neck, and 3 eyes arranged in a triangle on its face. I am Specialist Rixel, Coalition Immunology Expert. Dr. Velthra requested my presence for consultation on the human situation. The Frelian turned all 3 eyes on Taiyang. I have reviewed the scans. I would like to examine human blood directly if permitted. Sure, Taiyang said. Can I come out of this bubble first? Absolutely not, Rixal said quickly. We will use a remote collection system. A mechanical arm extended from the wall of the containment field. Taiyang held out his arm, and the machine drew a small vial of blood. The arm retracted, deposited the vial in a sealed container, and the container was transported through a series of tubes to Rixal's workstation. Everyone gathered around as Rixal placed a drop of Taiyang's blood under a powerful microscope. The image appeared on the large screen for everyone to see. At first, it just looked like red and white cells floating in plasma. Then something moved. A white blood cell approached a bacterium that had been added to the sample. The medical team watched in silence as the white cell engulfed the bacterium, pulled it inside, and dissolved it. By the ancestors, Rixal whispered. It hunted. It actively hunted the pathogen. That's what white blood cells do, Hana said. No, Rixal said, all 3 eyes fixed on the screen. That is what predators do. Coalition immune systems mark foreign organisms for removal. They flag them for filtering. They encourage them to exit the body. But they do not hunt. They do not consume. They do not destroy so aggressively. On the screen, the white blood cell had finished dissolving the bacterium. It immediately moved toward another target. It is searching for more, Dr. Velthra said. It eliminated one threat and is actively seeking others. Well, yeah, Minho said. That's its job. Rixal pulled up additional data. Human blood contains billions of these cells, billions of microscopic hunters patrolling your body constantly, seeking and destroying anything they identify as foreign. This is not an immune system. This is an internal army. You're making it sound more dramatic than it is, Hana protested. Am I? Rixal gestured to the screen. Watch. The Frelian added a different pathogen to the blood sample. The white blood cells converged on it immediately like sharks sensing blood in water. Multiple cells attacked at once, overwhelming the pathogen and tearing it apart. They coordinate, Rixal said. They communicate. They work together to destroy threats more efficiently. Dr. Velthra's lights had gone completely dark except for a faint purple glow. What else does the human immune system do? Hana pulled up a list on her datapad. Well, there's inflammation, which increases blood flow to damaged areas. Fever responses that cook pathogens with high temperatures. Antibodies that remember specific threats for decades. Histamine reactions that... Stop, Dr. Velthra said. Just stop. I need a moment. The doctor walked away from the group and stood facing the wall. The other medical staff exchanged glances. No one seemed to know what to say. Finally, Rixal broke the silence. Dr. Velthra, we must report this to the Coalition Medical Council. Humans represent a completely new paradigm in biology. This information could revolutionize our understanding of immune systems. Or it could get them banned from the galaxy, Dr. Velthra said quietly. Taeyang Kim stepped off the transport shuttle and stared at the massive medical station floating in space. Kepler 9 looked like a giant crystal flower, with petals made of metal and glass spreading out in every direction. He had traveled 3 months to get here, leaving Earth behind as part of the first human exchange program with the Galactic Coalition. His job was simple: work as an engineer, fix things, and try not to embarrass his entire species. The docking bay was full of aliens. Taeyang tried not to stare, but it was impossible. A creature that looked like a floating jellyfish drifted past him. Something with 6 legs and purple fur clicked its way across the floor. A being made entirely of what seemed like living crystal stood near a doorway, its body glowing with soft blue light. Human Taeyang Kim? A voice said through his translator earpiece. Taeyang turned and found himself facing the crystal being. Up close, it looked like a praying mantis made of diamonds with organs inside that pulsed with different colors of light. The translator identified it as Quiloxian. Yes, that's me, Taeyang said, trying to sound confident. I am Dr. Velthra, Chief Medical Officer of this station. All new species must complete medical screening before assignment. Please follow me. The medical bay was unlike any hospital Taiyang had ever seen. The walls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting slowly. Equipment floated in the air, held in place by some kind of force field. Other aliens sat in the waiting area, most of them encased in transparent bubbles or wearing what looked like environmental suits. "Are they sick?" Taiyang asked, pointing at the suited aliens. "No," Dr. Velthra said, the lights in its body flickering yellow. "They require atmospheric protection. Standard procedure for species with delicate biology. Please enter the scanner." Taiyang walked into a circular chamber. Blue light washed over him from every direction, warm but not uncomfortable. He could see Dr. Velthra outside, watching screens that displayed information in symbols he couldn't read. The doctor's body lights started changing colors rapidly, cycling through blue, yellow, orange, and finally settling on bright red. "Please remain calm," Dr. Velthra said, but the doctor's voice sounded anything but calm. "I am detecting—" "This cannot be correct. What's wrong?" Taiyang asked. Dr. Velthra didn't answer. Instead, the doctor pressed several controls and the scanner ran again. The red lights in the doctor's body grew brighter. Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the medical bay. "Emergency medical team to scanner 3. Possible catastrophic infection. Initiate containment protocol 7. "Wait, what?" Taiyang said, looking down at himself. "I feel fine." Within seconds, 5 more aliens rushed into the room, all of them carrying equipment. The scanner chamber sealed shut with a hiss and a transparent barrier materialized around it. Taiyang was now trapped inside a bubble within a bubble. "Let me out." "I'm not sick," Taiyang shouted, pounding on the barrier. Dr. Velthra approached the barrier but stayed several feet away. The doctor's translator voice was shaking. "Human Taiyang, I need you to remain calm. According to my scans, your body is host to approximately 40 trillion foreign organisms. They are covering your skin, lining your digestive tract, and inhabiting nearly every surface of your body. This is the worst parasitic infestation I have ever documented." Taiyang stopped pounding on the barrier. Then he started laughing. "Those aren't parasites. That's just my microbiome. You know, normal bacteria. Everyone has them." Dr. Velthra's lights flickered in a pattern that the translator couldn't interpret. "I do not understand. You are saying this infection is normal? It's not an infection. These bacteria help me. They digest food, protect my skin, make vitamins. Humans need them to stay healthy." The medical team gathered around Dr. Velthra's screens, all of them making sounds of distress. One of the aliens, something that looked like a walking plant, actually fainted and had to be carried away by 2 others. "That is impossible," Dr. Velthra said. "No species in the coalition maintains colonies of foreign organisms inside their bodies. Our immune systems eliminate all foreign presence immediately." "What you describe is what?" Taiyang asked. "Insane." Dr. Velthra's lights flashed bright red. "You are telling me that humans deliberately keep trillions of alien organisms inside their bodies? That you need them to survive? What kind of evolutionary nightmare produced your species?" Before Taiyang could answer, someone else entered the medical bay. He recognized her immediately and felt relief flood through him. "Hana. Thank God you're here." Hana Park, the human xenobiologist assigned to Kepler 9, rushed over to the barrier. She took one look at the panicking medical team and sighed. "Let me guess. They found our gut bacteria. They think I'm dying of a parasite infection." Hana turned to Dr. Velthra. "Doctor, I understand this looks alarming, but I assure you this is completely normal for humans. We evolved on a planet with extremely diverse microbial life. Our bodies formed partnerships with beneficial bacteria over millions of years." Dr. Velthra stared at Hana. "Your translator must be malfunctioning. There is no such phrase as beneficial bacteria in Galactic Standard. Bacteria are pathogens. They cause disease and death. Not for humans," Hana said. "Well, some do, but most don't. We actually can't survive without them." Another alarm started beeping. A young human in a security uniform entered the medical bay for his own screening appointment. Minyo Choi looked around at the chaos in confusion. "What's going on? Why is Taiyang in a containment field?"
"Get him into a scanner immediately,"
Dr. Velthra ordered. 2 medical assistants practically dragged Minho into another scanner. 30 seconds later, the same alarm started ringing. Dr. Velthra examined Minho's results, then looked at Taiyang's again, then back to Minho's. "The infection levels are identical," Dr. Velthra said quietly. "This is not an anomaly. This is standard for your species." "Yes," Hana said. "Now you're getting it." "No," Dr. Velthra said. the doctor's lights dimming to a dark purple. Now I am terrified. What kind of species weaponizes parasitism? What kind of evolution creates beings that turn their own bodies into breeding grounds for foreign organisms? We don't weaponize anything, Taeyang protested. We just evolved differently. Dr. Velthrop pulled up comparison scans on a large screen. Look, this is a Quiloxian internal scan. See, completely sterile. No foreign organisms anywhere. This is a Vexorian, also sterile. This is a Frelian, sterile. Every species in the coalition maintains internal biological purity, except humans. So we're different, Minho said from his own containment bubble. That doesn't make us dangerous. Different? Dr. Velthra's lights flashed rapidly. You are not different. You are impossible. You are walking contradictions. You are... Taeyang felt a tickle in his nose. He tried to hold it back but couldn't. He sneezed. The sneeze hit the inner barrier of the containment field. Instantly, new alarms began blaring. These were louder, more urgent. Red lights flashed throughout the entire medical bay. Automated systems activated, sealing doors and pumping air through filters. Dr. Velthra stared at the sensor readings in horror. You just expelled millions of viral particles, bacteria, and aggressive protein structures into the air. It was just a sneeze, Taeyang said. The dust in here made my nose itch. Just a sneeze? Dr. Velthra backed away from the containment field. You just deployed a biological weapon in a medical facility. Hana put her face in her hands. This was going to be a very long day.